for everybody. I'm by name's teacher Nirenganya Emmanuel, teacher of geography. Dear students, dear learners, get ready for the study. Make sure that you take your pen and notebook so that you can write them something. Today we are going to learn the layer number 3, or the third layer of the internal structure of the earth, and that layer is named as the core. Core can also be named as the centrosphere or barysphere. It means those are other names that can be given to this third layer of the internal structure of the earth, which is core. Let's see the characteristics of core. Number 1, core is divided into 2 parts. The 2 parts include out core and the inner core. So inner core, it is made of iron and nickel. Those are minerals that make up this inner core. Inner core is also very dense, meaning that since it is made of iron and nickel, it is very dense. Next, high temperature in the inner core. High temperature in the core, meaning that the temperature range between 3,000 to 6,000 degrees Celsius. In the interior of the earth, on the last layer, which is named as core, have high temperature. It means high temperature in the core can be found in the inner core. So even if in the outer core also have high temperature, but inner core is the one that has the highest temperature, where it ranges from 5,000 to 6,000 degrees Celsius. Inner core is in a solid state. That even if inner core has high temperature, but the minerals or the kind of rocks which are there are in a solid state because of different factors. We are going to talk about those factors which may lead to the inner core to be in a state of solid since they have high temperature. The characteristics of the core. We are going to see also the reasons why the inner core of the earth is in a solid state. The reason why the inner core of the earth is in a solid state. Reason number 1. It is made of very dense or heavy materials like iron and nickel. Those materials don't melt very easy, so that they stay in a solid. This inner core is in a solid state. It is because this inner core is made of heavy materials including iron and nickel. Those iron and nickel, they don't melt easily. That's why the inner core, it is always in a solid state. Presence of a great pressure caused by those heavy materials. Okay? Because inner core is made up by those heavy materials or those heavy minerals including iron and nickel, they cause a great pressure, and that great pressure cannot allow those minerals or rocks found in this layer to be in a liquid state. They always stay in a solid state. We are going to see the reasons why the interior of the earth is very hot. We are going to see why in the interior of the earth we have high temperature. Let's start by reason number 1. The original heat is retained as the interior cools slower than the earth's surface. The original heat is retained as this interior of the earth cools slower than the surface of the earth. Since the surface of the earth cools easily than the interior, this will make the interior of the earth to be very hot. Next, No active decay causing most of the heating. When you talk, those are chemical elements found in the interior of the earth that produce heat. So that heat causes the interior of the earth to be very hot. Weight of cluster rocks that exerts a lot of heat, a lot of pressure that generates a lot of heat. This means that the weight of cluster rock, because of their weights, because of their heavy, because of how they are heavy, this create a great pressure which can generate the heat, and this can cause the interior of the earth to be very hot. The sources of the information about the interior of the earth. When we talk of sources of the information about the interior of the earth, those are evidence which can show that there are something that there are some processes that are working inside of the earth crust or inside or in the interior of the earth. See source number one: seismic waves of earthquakes. Seismic waves of earthquake. Since earthquake originate in the interior of the earth, this can inform that things which cause earthquake, they originate in the interior of the earth. Therefore, we get some news, we get some information that in the interior of the earth there are something which can cause earthquake. Next, volcanic materials that are brought to the surface of the earth. Volcanic eruption, there can be seen magma on the surface of the earth or molten rocks on the surface of the earth. Those molten rocks are originating from the interior of the earth crust, especially in the mantle, meaning that this volcanic eruption can inform us that we have magma inside of the earth crust. Therefore, we get information about inside or interior of the earth. Source number three: carrying out seismic experiments. Carry out seismic experiments, you can get some information about the interior of the earth. Next is and oceans beds. When you are studying about deep sea and ocean beds, you can get information about the interior of the earth. Materials obtained from deep mines. Activities. The minerals that are extracted from deep ground can inform us what is going on inside of the earth or in the interior of the earth. Therefore, of information about the interior of the earth. Lastly, we are going to talk about the importance of studying the internal structure of the earth. Ask yourself, why are we studying this internal structure of the earth? Those are reasons. Those are the importance of studying this internal structure of the earth. The importance number one: internal structure helps geographers to explain the existence of various surface features that result from tectonic processes. Geographers studied the interior or the internal structure of the earth. It helps them to know or to explain the existence of physical features that are found on the surface of the earth. For example, let's talk about volcanic features like a volcano, like lava plateau, or any other volcanic features that is formed on the surface of the earth. Those features were formed as a result of the coming out of the magma on the surface of the earth. Meaning that when you study the interior or the internal structure of the earth, you will be aware about the materials that make up volcano, materials that make up lava, plateau, where they come from. Not only about volcanic eruption, we can also talk about other tectonic processes like folding, faulting, and even earthquake. It means all those tectonic processes, they are originating from the inside or the earth or they are originated from the interior of the earth, and those processes can lead to the formation of different reef features on the surface of the earth. Internal structure of the earth can help us to know what is inside of the earth. When you study the internal structure of the earth, you will be aware of the information. You will be aware of knowing what is going on inside of the earth crust, inside of the earth. For example, we discussed about different layers of internal structure of the earth, where we talked about crust, mantle, and core. We have seen that in all those layers, rocks which are found there are different. We have seen that temperature are also different. Therefore, when you study the internal structure of the earth, you will be aware, you will know some information about this internal structure of the earth. So, okay, in sum up, we have seen the internal structure of the earth, where we describe different layers of the internal structure of the earth by starting from crust, mantle, and core. We also talked about different layers or discontinuity or zone of discontinuity that separate each layer of internal structure of the earth, where we have seen that crust and mantle are separated by discontinuity of Moravisic. We also talked about the discontinuity of Gutenberg that separate mantle from the core. So we have also talked about the different factors that cause the interior of the earth to be very hot, and we have also talked about reasons why inner core is arid in a solid state. We have also talked about the importance of studying this internal structure of the earth. Dear students, we are going to end by this course by reading those revision questions so that our topic, so that you will be able to revise seriously those content covered previously. Let's read those revision questions. Structure of the earth. This revision question is going to cover, we studied previously about this unity, internal structure of the earth. Question number 1. With the aid of a well-elaborated diagram, name the different parts of the internal structure of the earth. Meaning that we shall draw the diagram showing all the layers of the internal structure of the earth, and we put the names. You remember the names? For example, we start by crust, where we saw that crust is divided into oceanic crust and continental crust. Remember mantle, where it is divided also into two parts, upper mantle and lower mantle. And don't forget to mention the discontinuity of Mohorovicic as a layer, as a zone of discontinuity that separates mantle and crust. You have also to put core, where core is divided into two parts, inner core and outer core. And don't forget to mention the zone of discontinuity of Gutenberg that separates mantle from core. Describe the characteristics of the layers of the internal structure of the earth. This question requires to highlight all layers of internal structure of the earth, and you describe or you give their characteristics. You give crust, their characteristics, mantle, their characteristics, and core with their characteristics. Question number 3. What is the importance of studying the internal structure of the earth? This question requires to give the importance. Why is it very important to study this topic, internal structure of the earth? State 2 sources of information about the internal structure of the earth. It requires to give you the sources of the information where we can find the information about the internal structure of the earth. Explain why inner core of the earth is in a solid state, meaning that you will give the reasons why inner core is always in a solid state, as we discussed previously. Lastly, give 3 reasons to explain why the interior of the earth is very hot. So this question requires to give reasons, as we studied previously, reasons why the interior of the earth has high temperature or is very hot. This is the end of our revision questions, and I would like to invite learners to subscribe so that you will get next topic on this TV called Keep on Learning TV. This channel of Keep on Learning TV, you will get students, dear fellow teachers. I want to give you information about the next topic. Next topic about weather and climate. Of this topic, we'll be focusing on the following contents of discussion. For example, number 1, we shall discuss about layers of atmosphere. We shall discuss about layers of atmosphere. That is number 1. We shall discuss about the importance of atmosphere. Number 3, we shall discuss about the causes and effects of ozone layer destruction. We shall be talking about what causes ozone layer to be destroyed. What effects shall we face? What effects will have on human and physical environment? Next, we shall talk about the measures that should be taken to protect ozone layer. We shall see what a human being can do so that we can protect ozone layer from its damage or destruction. Number 5, we shall see the problems caused by thunderstorms and lightning or negative effect of thunderstorm. When we talk of problem caused by thunderstorm and the lightning, we are talking about negative effects of thunderstorm and lightning. Number 6, we shall talk about measures that should be taken to minimize or to reduce the effects caused by thunderstorm and lightning. Next time we shall be looking at different measures or different techniques that one can use so that he can avoid or so that he can escape the effects caused by thunderstorm and lightning. Lastly, we shall be talking about weather forecasting. We shall define what weather forecasting is. We shall also see different traditional methods of weather forecasting. We shall lastly we shall see the importance of weather and forecasting on man's activities. We shall see how weather forecasting can influence man's activities, how weather forecasting can help a man to plan his activities. Thank you very much, dear student, dear teacher colleague.